Good evening, everyone. And we have Sureshji once again here with us. Welcome, Sureshji.
Namaskar.
So, Sureshji, we'll start with this wonderful slide, and that is Dhanteras 2025 broke records. Indians bought 46 tons of gold worth rupees 60,000 crores, rupees 15,000 crores worth of silver, and over 6 lakh vehicles in a single day. This Dhanteras, and they say the economy is dead. So, this is it's very startling figures, isn't it?
True. In fact, I tweeted about this yesterday, tagging Rahul Gandhi. So he is the one who claimed, along with Donald Trump, that Indian economy is dead. And not just here, Jaydev. If you go back to Dashera, which again is a big festival down south, we saw the maximum sales happen in car. In fact, in Hyderabad and all, it was more sales on Dashera than on Diwali. And the number of vehicles that is sold, it's considered very auspicious to buy anything valuable around that point in time during Dashara. So what we are seeing, of course, it coincided with the GST cut, and that actually helps for a lot of sales. But what one needs to understand is that our nation has the money, the wherewithal to buy products. It is just that we as Indians, we often tend to hold ourselves back and buy only when it is necessary, absolutely necessary, for a large part of the population, at least 80% of the population. The priorities are elsewhere. For example, children's education, families' expenditure. These are very, very important things. So once you have a car, you have a car. Uh, Gold is an option to buy when you have extra money with you. You don't go around with your credit card and buy gold. That doesn't really work out that way. But more important than anything else is the fact that our consumption is increasing. As somebody often said, we are a rich country of poor people, and that is what it is. And we tend to buy a lot of things, and that has been spurred by GST. In fact, the press conference the other day by Nirmala Sitaraman with Piyush Goyal and Ashwini Vaishnav brought out these points very, very clearly. If you look at the number of people who traveled and traveling this Diwali weekend, which went past, it is a record number of air travelers, and people usually go back to their hometowns using their cars and personal vehicles because it's easy to get back to work. But what you're seeing is increasingly an India that has the propensity to spend. And when you spend, naturally, your GDP goes up. The manufacturing sector has enough orders that will carry all the way till Shankranti, Makar Shankranti, and that is where the sales actually stop until the Ugadi comes in, and again the next year kicks in before the financial year closes. So what we are seeing is that Indian consumer does buy products, and the fact that Rahul Gandhi was saying, "Oh, you don't know, Indian economy is dead." Mr. Rahul Gandhi, you look at your portfolio of shares, and then you'll understand where you stand. He's busy making jalebis, and he's busy making sweets. And then he ridicules the same people who Modi ji said can make pakodas. Remember that episode where he said pakoda is not a job? And this man is confused, utterly confused, because on one hand there is a Bihar election that is going on. The candidate selection is in a mess. Yet he has time to do all these things. So basically, it's trying to take away the message from the messenger, and that's what is happening today. So today, in terms of consumption, yes, we are up there because if you see the record number of car dispatches, the two-wheeler sales that happened, the television set sales. The other day, Nirmala Sitaramanji's press conference was talking about the big television sets which are moving like crazy. She was even quoting individual companies, retail companies like Vijay Sales and all these people to say that even LG, for that matter, the company, to say that dispatches have happened. Now, the entire economy is in a boom naturally because what has happened is certainly there is some cash in hand. One was the income tax cut that came from the last budget, and the GST cut, or what do they call it, is a 2.0 reform that happened a couple of months ago. Overall, the Indian economy is picking up. If you see the manufacturing PMI, that is up. That has gone beyond the 50%, stayed there for quite a long time. The inflation is down. The food inflation is down. really down, because what we're seeing is a very, very stable rainy season this time. The rains have been very good, even though in many parts of the country, of course, as usual, it goes beyond a limit and results in flood and other destruction. But overall, if you look at this monsoon, because India heavily depends on monsoon for its economy to show up, and agriculture being our mainstay, monsoons are very, very, very important. And this time, touchwood, we had a good monsoon. And what we're going to see is that it will spill over into sometime into January and February, and then we will see the economy again taking off after April, May, when the new budget season kicks in. Hopefully, the new budget that Nirmala Sitaraman ji is going to present this time will have more accent towards infrastructure development, because she has given whatever she could in terms of income tax that happened in the previous. What she will try and do is to spur investment, and we will see a kind of boom of consumer demand again, maybe in a 5 to 6 months' time, once the next festival season comes in. But overall, what you're seeing is that there is cash in the hand, and that is exactly what is needed. You need people to spend money. Of course, we need to save, but then today's generation, what Rahul Gandhi calls the Gen Z revolution, when they have, that generation has a propensity to spend rather than save like their parents did. And we are seeing that happen. I'm very happy personally because one, right from the retailer who's selling cereal bulbs down this road with Made in India stamp on it, to the sweet shop guy, the dry fruits guy, everybody in the chain is making money. And of course, the wedding season is now going to start, and that again is going to have a huge impact on everybody from the tent house wala to the caterer, the transport guy, to the hotels, to the airlines, to the trains, and everybody.
Yeah. So coming to the next point, Sureshi, the Malabar Gold controversy that the Indian consumer is also patriotic in their.
So,
So yeah, would you like to talk about this Pakistani influencer Alishba Khalid? Who was there? Who had a collaboration with Malabar Gold, and the whole people they boycotted Malabar Gold, and you could see their stores empty. And bear in mind, Malabar Gold is the largest integrated jewelry manufacturing facility in the world, and it produces 17 kg of jewelry daily. And they have an annual turnover of $7.36 billion with a network of over 410 showrooms, and it is located in Hyderabad.
yeah, the manufacturing unit is located in Hyderabad, but technically they are headquartered out of Calicut. The corporate office is in Mumbai. And let me put in a disclaimer. I know a lot of people in Malabar Gold, and I did speak to them about this controversy when it broke, because I wanted to be clear on the legal side. Because there is a Mumbai High Court order which takes down any video that mentions the controversy. So we need to be extremely careful when we speak about Malabar Gold. Uh, Going about this Pakistani influencer being hold, we will go with the company's line that they didn't know they had outsourced the entire thing to a third party, and that party in turn called a lot of influencers for the opening of the London store. I would give them the benefit of doubt. I would give Mr. Ahmed the benefit of doubt. But what happened subsequently is what worries me. In fact, I told some of the executives of Malabar Gold about this, that they should not have gone after individuals asking them to be jailed. One can understand a post being taken down, but we saw in many cases that the entire account has been suspended, which is not really required. You're going overboard with that. The High Court clearly has said to only take down the post, not suspend the handle by itself. That is a case of overreach, judicial overreach, and definitely that needs correction, because see, any publicity, good or bad, does the company good only in the end of the day. We've seen that in case of movies, where there are controversies created before the movie is released so that there's enough publicity for the movie to have a good run. Something similar here, but Malabar Gold had its share of controversy before. We know Shefali Vaidya ran a campaign against them for no bindi, no business. And that old video is still circulating back again. Uh, as consumer brands, one needs to be extremely careful about the sensitivities of people. And this is something that we all need to be aware of, and we need to ensure that it doesn't work that way out. Because one thing, Jaydev, what we often see is that, I mean, having worked for in the marketing field for quite a long time, I kind of find it very strange when big companies, you're talking of billions of dollars of turnover, it's not a small company by itself, they have kind of committed a series of missteps in terms of the marketing campaign. And that is what worries me. Because you can understand a small company doing this, which is okay. I mean, this is something that you outsource is your social media agency or a third party agency. You can't expect the Malabar Gold management to go and check the credentials of each and every influencer that who comes in and does that. But post the event, what we need to do is we need to ensure that we don't actually create more controversy than what was created originally. And that is something we need to lie down low and take it off there. Because in today's world, the damage can be done in a matter of minutes. Whatever you have created over the days, over the years, that image can get damaged in a matter of minutes. And this is something that companies need to be very careful. And Malabar Gold had its share of controversies, as I told you. Well, it's not that other companies did not have it. And but being a jewelry company, which traditionally, I would say, a lot of Hindus buy this jewelry. And when you want to do that, it's not that Muslims don't buy jewelry, but we Hindus have a fascination for jewelry because during the weddings, that's a big show off. And also as a source of investment, it's a big thing. And even RBI is buying huge amounts of gold. But we need to ensure that the publicity doesn't go beyond a point. Of course, Malabar Gold had its share before that in terms of the Pakistani association. They said they are associated with the Pakistanis in some way or the other. They said many of our customers are Pakistanis, and all these controversies keep coming and going. And but as a brand, I think they made a mistake. They should just owned it up and say, fine, we made a mistake. We didn't know. We accept the responsibility for it. And we'll ensure that our legal team doesn't really go after people and say that they should be jailed. That is the wrong thing to do. You don't jail people over. I saw that a particular part of the order of the affidavit that was filed by the company that asked for this to be done. And then, that actually set up a lot of bad blood at the thing. They should have just avoided that. Take on the post, no issues. You can always fight over it. Because according to Malabar Gold, when I spoke to the executives, senior executives here, they say that there is a concerted campaign being run by the rivals. And this is there in every other industry. You have restaurants which run different things to different people. And then that is also a major controversy that happens often. People, many restaurants have this issue of somebody writing a bad review about them, and that often is done by the rivals. So as a marketing company, as a company that is selling its product gold, which is valued very very highly in terms of trust, I think what Malabar Gold should have done was to just do the initial part, which is basically deny their association or at least accept that association with the Pakistani influencer. Get over with it, because these days news will die a natural death within 24 hours unless you go and stoke it up. Once you stoke it up, then it remains for a longer time, and that is what creates a problem. And that is what happened in case of Malabar Gold. They should just let it die a natural death. No, they didn't do it. They went overboard, and that is what killed the golden goose.
Yeah. So, Suresh, coming to next news is Donald Trump. He celebrated Diwali in the White House, and he said, Modi ji is a very good friend, and India is a, great, partner, and all those things. And so he keeps taking so many U-turns. He says that Modi has agreed to stop buying Russian oil and all those things. So, what is really going on in his head? Is something which I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, if you can answer that question, yeah, you have $1 million with you, or even $1 billion with you. Trump is a transactional person, Jaydev. He's a real estate guy. So he's the typical guy who says, okay, here is what it is, take it or leave it. And that is the kind of deals that he does. I mean, he's been doing it from donkey's years. So obviously, the main thing that we need to understand from President Trump is that he is trying to drive a hard bargain in a very bad situation. The US economy is sliding, the unemployment is going to record highs, and that is what is the problem. And today, what we need to understand from people in the United States itself, that there is a huge problem with jobs. Look at what happened yesterday. The U-turn suddenly from yesterday that we are seeing in terms of the H-1B contract. What we're seeing, the H-1B visas, Suddenly there's been a kind of a slide back in the situation. They're saying, fine, people are already there, don't bother. L1, F1 conversion to H1 is also okay. You can go and come back as many times as you want. There is no issue. Look, the entire thing turns on its head because people always believe that H1B is to do with IT, which is not. IT is only one component of the H1B because there's a huge component that is also includes doctors, nurses, priests, everybody into the bargain. Everybody is thrown into it, and that is what the problem is all about, Jaydev. That we misunderstood H1B, we misused it, and there was obviously a strike back at us. And but that problem has been sorted out to a large extent now because the next visa that is coming up is only in spring. We have enough time to prepare for it, and more importantly than that, the 5 lakh people already on H1B who now are safe, so they're going to be the most valued asset that is out there. And definitely as Indians, we have this propensity, especially from the Telugu speaking states, that if you don't go to US, you are dead as a dodo, especially if you're in the IT sector. You have to go to US no matter whether you work in a petrol bunk or you work in a supermarket. The case is that you are valued for it because once you are in US, and that is the problem with many of us, many of our guys here, or many of our girls from here who go to US for studying and then stay on for OPT and then try and get into H1. Now that process has been streamlined. There's no issue with that. So people can still apply. But remember, the end of the day, there is a huge pressure on Trump because of his MAGA campaign that I will bring jobs back to America. And if he doesn't do it, I mean, the midterm elections next year are going to force his hand, and definitely he'll be under tremendous pressure. Of course, he doesn't have an election after this because it's going to be JD Vance or somebody else who will face the music. But surely, as a person who understands the transactional business, Trump says the cat is white one day and next day he says the cat is black. Fine, we will live with that. But as Indians, we need to understand that we are dealing with somebody who's eccentric, who changes his stance every day. One day he tells Putin, I will bomb you. Next day he tells Zelensky, surrender. And that is how it is. Imagine the state of Zelensky right now. Bus, we are sitting in a very comfortable place. But imagine Zelensky, poor guy, he got into a war unnecessarily, and today he cannot stop the war. And Trump is telling Putin is going to kind of finish you off. Better surrender and give whatever he wants and be done with it. This is the problem with Trump. Dealing with Trump, one needs to understand specifically that he is a transactional person, and he definitely doesn't stick to one thing because he knows there are a lot of legal challenges in this particular H1B case. There is something being filed by the American Chamber of Commerce, which is coming up for legal hearing next week. And surely enough, there is going to be a court order, and Trump is going to have problems. So he's kind of preempting the problems right now by ensuring that they are taking care of these issues. But the problem is very simple, Jaydev, is that for Indians, we need to get beyond US. We need to look at Europe. We need to look at other countries. We need to even look at India. I mean, I was reading somewhere that the Modi government is now proposing that there is going to be a reverse brain drain of academics coming from US coming back into India. I mean, that is a good thing because the foreign university, the 17 foreign university that's been kind of, which the UK Prime Minister spoke of the other day. Great, do it. Bring the academics back to India, bring the students back. The problem with our students is, I mean, that is happening in Canada and Australia and other countries, UK also, is that they tend to violate the visa rules. Please don't do it. You follow the visa rules, and that is the most important thing. And one needs to understand and one needs to carry on with that. Because once you violate it, because the same, we sit here in India and we curse the Rohingyas and the Bangladeshis for violating the visa rules or coming without a visa or even coming without a passport or even impersonating somebody and jumping into India. The Americans look as the same way. Even though we are talented than the Bangladeshis are, we are delivering a lot of value to the US. Innovation, for example, comes natural to Indians when they are in the US because a lot of freedom that is given to you to work, and that is an advantage. But President Trump, at the end of the day, please put yourself in his shoes. He's under tremendous pressure. The economy is not going anywhere. The manufacturing sector is not coming back from China. The rare earths is a big problem. He's signing up with left, right, and center with Albanese, and he's tying up with Russia. He's tying up with Pakistan to somehow get the rare earths. Because right from the headphones that you use, the buds you use, to the the magnets that are there in your car windows, everything is rare earth. And definitely that is going to be the next big thing because China is clamping down one after another. Today they have stopped the sales of high end fertilizers to every country including India. Now we are also under tremendous pressure now because of that, and definitely we need to ensure that way Trump functions as a transactional person, we should deal with him in a transactional way. He will go off tangent. He'll keep saying, I spoke to Modi when, and I told Modi said he will not buy oil. And look at the latest figures. Last 2 months, our oil sales have picked up again from Russia. I mean, the slide was there for 1 month and then we picked up the next month. So we will buy from whichever source is good for us, no matter where it comes from. That we need the cheapest oil. US, if they give it to us at $40 a barrel, we'll happily buy from US, but they're not willing to sell it at 40. They want at 70, which is a high cost for us. So our companies will definitely go across the world, scout for the best prices, and get them. And that is for sure, Jaydev. I think this is where the message from the bottle is.
So Trump has a good relationship with Pakistan and also with Afghanistan. So do you think there'll be like going forward there'll be problem in the border areas of India?
Well, we have, border areas with India. We've seen Sir Creek coming up as an issue that is there. We're seeing the bunkers that obviously were spotted near Chicken's Neck in Bangladesh, and that is a sense of worry. I believe there's some talks. There's a flag meeting that happened between the Bangladeshi Rangers and India, saying that those bunkers very close to India's Chicken Neck is a big source of worry for India, and India wanted to know who is setting it up, and obviously they've been asked to be removed immediately, and we need to see that. But definitely, yeah, the border tensions are going to be there, Jaydev. It's not going to go away. We cannot wish it away. But the question is, as a very mature nation, you need to deal with it in a very mature way. We can't be another Trump or we can't be another Shabazz Sharif. And that is where the entire maturity of Dr. Jaishankar, Prime Minister Modi, and other officials, very cool, very calculated, and they speak only when it is required to be spoken to.
Yeah. So also the fact that Asim Munir said that India should not play with us again.
I swear. I mean, see, when they say, no, those who can't, those who speak don't do, and those who do don't speak. So it's very clear the Pakistani bluff of saying that I have this bomb with me, I have this bomb with me, I have this bomb with me is just a posturing. And Prime Minister Modi made that remark during Operation Sindoor when he said very clearly that we called a Pakistani bluff in the nuclear blackmail. This is what it is. I mean, it doesn't take much time to hit a nuclear asset. We did it in Kairana Hills, almost did it. But everybody knows that no nation will ever use its nuclear arsenal. Even a mad guy like Kim Jong Un in South Korea, sorry, North Korea won't use it because he knows the consequences of it. He knows what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and how that world changed for Japan totally. So we need to ensure something, Jaydev, that Asim Munir or Shabazz Sharif or the other officials in Pakistan Foreign Ministry are to be taken lightly. Because right now they are got a spring in the step because of President Trump. They have sold the entire rare earth in major parts of Pakistan to the United States. They already start digging it. The digging is going on, and what we are seeing that first consignment of rare earths from Pakistan left for the US a week ago in a ship. And naturally, that is going to happen more and more and more. And we know what will happen to Myanmar when China dug up everything out there. They left the country in a mess. And that is what exactly will happen to Pakistan. Pakistan will make money in the bargain. There's no doubt about it. I mean, let's be very practical about it. They will make money. They are selling their assets, which we are not willing to sell. Of course, we need our own rare earths. We are signing up with countries in Africa and countries like Brazil to try and extract as much of rare earths as possible so that we can keep our electronics, our car industry, and all running because we need that. So Shabazz Sharif, Asim Munir, and others, they can keep saying that we have 15 nuclear warheads ready or we have 30 nuclear warheads ready. So be my guest. Come with that, and we know what will happen to you. One thing we need to remember is that Pakistan's nuclear arsenal is under the command of the United States. They are controlling the entire thing. And that is what is the most important thing there because we need to have an oversight on them. Because today it's not just Pakistan. Tomorrow, if Tehrik-e-Taliban hits one of the Pakistani nuclear assets, imagine the destruction it will cause, not just in Pakistan, but towards Indian Punjab as well. And that is going to be a major, major issue. Rajasthan will get impacted. Gujarat will get impacted. Even Jammu Kashmir will get impacted. So we need to ensure that the Pakistani nuclear arsenal stays safe. And for all we know, way the US reacted when we hit Kairana, obviously the US knew what was there. And they obviously told us that don't go ahead, don't do anything more, be done with whatever you're done.
Yeah. So now, how do you see the Bihar election? Do you see NDA winning comfortably?
Yeah, I mean, there's no issue. But see, end of the day, we need to realize the fight that is happening behind the Mahagathbandhan. They are supposed to have a press conference today. I don't know what's going to be announced in that six friendly fight. There's nothing called a friendly fight in politics. It's a fight. Okay, you have two party symbols, so you get confused. The voter doesn't know where to vote in case he's not voting for BJP or NDA. He has to obviously go for Congress, but he doesn't know if there's a Congress and a RJD. He doesn't know whom to vote for. So the problem is today is that the kind of enthusiasm that Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi showed in the initial days when they were doing the vote Adhikar Yatra and all that stuff is evaporated into thin air. Today, they are not able to finalize a candidate. JMM, which has quite a good influence in one part of the Bihar that is adjacent to Jharkhand, has walked away and they're accusing the Congress of being high handed. They didn't say RJD, they said Congress is high handed. So imagine what will happen to the alliance partner, their alliance partner in Jharkhand. And for all you know, tomorrow, Hemant Soren will just walk into the BJP camp. And I predict this will happen in a month's time because that is how Congress treats its allies. They shoot far above their weight, and that is what it is. Contesting 75 seats and then winning 11. What's your strike ratio? Terrible. Whereas RJD strike ratio is far, far better. Look at BJP where they bargained down to 100 seats each for RJD, for NDA in the NDA camp, with JDU taking 100 and they taking 100, because BJP knows its strike ratio is somewhere around 75 to 80%. And tomorrow, maybe in a couple of years' time, you'll see Chirag Paswan replacing Nitish Kumar as the CM candidate of Bihar, which is a good thing because we need young blood. And Chirag has also indicated that he is going to be concentrating on Bihar for the next 5 years, so that when the next election comes up, Nitish Kumar should be retiring and then making way for the young blood. And BJP, unfortunately, doesn't have a good candidate in Bihar. The last was Sushil Kumar Modi ji, who's no more. But after that, there's been no other candidate for in Bihar who BJP could say, here is our CM candidate and vote for him or her. That didn't happen. So that is a sad fact. But at the end of the day, I think they should do what they did with JDU in Karnataka. I always tell this to politicians in Telangana: don't fight with the Congress, fight with the BRS, finish them off once and for all, and just like JDU, make them sit in one corner. And where Devagowda and Kumar Swamy are today relegated beyond. They were a Mandya party once. Even today, they are not even in Mandya. That is the state they've been reduced to. And do that same thing in Bihar tomorrow or later, maybe 10 years from now. JDU should be a spent force once Nitish moves away, and then BJP will rule the roost. It's a different matter whether Chirag Paswan will be the chief minister or somebody else will be. But the question is very simple: play the Karnataka game in Telangana and in Bihar. And in Bihar, it's a cakewalk. I think the way the opinion polls are showing, it's very clear. Rahul Gandhi is not even campaigning there, and I doubt he will even step in later in the campaign. He may turn up for a few rallies here and there, but that body language is very, very clear. Where that when there is an election going on in Bihar, when the candidate list is not decided, Rahul Gandhi goes and makes sweets somewhere. He should be all the time on it. And there's a person called KC Venugopal who's taking care of. He's a disaster. I mean, he's playing the role of what Ahmed Patel played at one time. Where is Ahmed Patel and where is KC Venugopal? They are a world apart. And that is what the Congress is suffering today because of inexperienced people who don't know how to deal with the local politics. I mean, KC Venugopal's influence doesn't stretch beyond Kerala. And here he's being asked to head, kind of be the Rahul Gandhi's right hand man, which he's not. He cannot, he's not capable of it. He messed up every other state. And that is what is happening today. I mean, Bihar too will be messed up. I think Tejasvi will do well. There's no doubt about it. RJD will do. Congress will end up with just 12 seats or 14 seats maximum. That's it. And predictably, BJP and JDU plus Chirag Paswan's party and the smaller parties will all come together somewhere around 138 to 142 is my estimate, which is what even the opinion polls are showing up now.
Yeah, and coming to the last point, Suresh, is that Kiran Mazumdar Shah offers to fund Bengaluru road repair after meeting DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaya. So that's hilarious.
She should just take over BMC. That's it, because it's a failure. It's an urban failure. I mean, let us not just blame Bengaluru for it. Hyderabad is no good, because the majority of the money that is supposed to be spent for development is going for freebies. You don't have enough money to lay roads. You don't have enough money to take care of your drainage systems. You don't have enough money to kind of get the drinking water to the doorstep. The problem is this: there is no money. So if there is no money, what will you do? You're giving free bus rides, you're giving free electricity, you're giving free, you're giving scholarships. I mean, give where it is required. Okay. The problem today is you're making people lazy by telling them, don't work, we will give you money. That's not how it should be. They should work for the money. Look at M. Narega. If it is given free, the people are told, sit at home, we will give you money. They will not work. You're not getting farm hands. And I don't know who said this, one of the senior politicians that said that I don't have farm hands in my village to work because they're all going for Narega and other programs. They're getting free money. Nobody wants to work now. This is a sad fact. And Karnataka, I mean, having lived in Bangalore long, long back, I mean, almost so what's it, 3 decades ago, in the late 80s, I can say that when I came recently, 6 months ago, it was terrible. Traffic was like, you know, I mean, we were legendary Silk Board junction is and all legendary. I used to live pretty close to it. And, those days it was not so messed up. Madiwala was still better. BTM layout was still better. But then today, to reach the airport from this part of the city, from Electronic City to reach the airport, and it's as good as driving back to Hyderabad because another 4 hours you drive and you're in Hyderabad. Why should you take a flight? So that is the running joke that is going around. And see, when Kiran Mazumdar Shaw makes a comment or Mohandas Pai criticizes it, take it in the right spirit. Actually, put them in charge of it. That's what I would tell DK Shiv Kumar. Give them, say, Electronic City is yours, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. I mean, I met her when long, long back, 40 years ago, when she had just started Biocon, and she was doing pretty well at that time also. And she's a very sensible lady. I mean, today, of course, she is one of the richest women, entrepreneurs. But then give her that responsibility and say, look, you run this entire thing. I will back you to the hilt. It's easier said than done. But today you're seeing where Amitabh Kant moved into Niti Aayog, where others moved into, from the private sector, moved into the government. Let them, see, repairing is not the solution, Jaydev. You live in Bengaluru and you know that. The problem is with the traffic. And the traffic is because you have not diversified into other cities. Sridhar Bembu is right. Why he put up his entire outfit in Tenkasi? He says, why should I add up to the mess in Chennai or Bengaluru or Hyderabad? They're already stretched. So let us go to the smaller cities and set it up because COVID taught you one very important lesson, Jay. They've taught all of us is that you can work from anywhere. There's nothing called that you work from here or work from there. You work from anywhere you want. Of course, we need physical face to face meetings. We need to meet our colleagues, all that stuff. But you need to kind of expand beyond the city. And the problem in Bengaluru is today, I mean, even with Hyderabad, you drive 100 kilometers from one end to another end, you're still within the city. What was outskirts is no longer outskirts now. So did Mysuru get really expand that way? I don't really think so. Did Hubli Dharwad get its share of IT companies? I don't think so because most of the companies don't want to expand beyond the core area. They want to be in Bengaluru city. They want to be in Hyderabad's high-tech city, Gachibowli area. They want to be in Chennai's Taramani and the East Coast Road. I mean, they don't want to go elsewhere. That's a problem. And as Kiran Mazumdar Shaw said, she was right. Mohandas Pai is right. Sensible suggestions. I mean, you can't go and ask Wipro to give you the land to build a road through their ESET. I mean, it is not possible. What were you doing till now? You were sleeping. The problem is the priorities are wrong. The only when the somebody cribs and somebody complains, then the government wakes up. Otherwise, a person like you and me complaining of the road, nobody will even bother about it because we've been doing it from donkey's years. So I think what Kiran Mazumdar Shaw did was a very sensible thing that she went and met Shiv Kumar and she discussed it with him because on Twitter or on social media, I mean, having a slanging match with each other will not help, will never help. And I think even Mohandas Pai, I mean, for all I know, I would even urge Prime Minister Modi to make him a Rajya Sabha member because he would contribute a lot more. And for the development of Bengaluru, I mean, put him also in charge of one part of the city and say, you've been given a free hand, all the BMC guys will report to you and see the difference then. There's going to be a huge difference. But the problem is the contractors, the politicians, everybody wants to make money. And Kiran Mazumdar Shaw or Mohandas Pai will not play ball with that. That's a problem.
Yeah, that was a wonderful session, Sureshji, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind and Jai Shri
Jai,
Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.